So what's the process of creation? Is it coming together in front of you? Because that must obviously be different if you're working with card or paper or Word and other things. How does it come together? Is it all done in draft and then the final thing gets created, or are you making it as you go?
It's quite funny because when I worked with Bat Studio when I did their mural, and we trying to work on some collaborations together, we said that our motto should be, it was Cat Bats, we named ourselves, our motto should be making it up as you go along. So no, I mean, so my process is a lot less design and a lot more experimenting. And so let me think of another example. I did a mural in Nunhead, not far from where I live in Peckham, and for that research, they wanted the people wanted it like Nunhead influenced, and actually it was a print they wanted, and the idea was I'd do a print that I could then translate into a mural. So I did lots of research. I went for lots of walks around Nunhead Cemetery. I spoke to my dad, who's from here, and we have a rich history, family history, and just looked at sort of poignant buildings and times, and then just drew some sketches. I mean, look, this is how shit my drawing is. This is me doing sketches. So that's simplifying stuff, but they're seemingly simple because the thought and backwork behind it is so much more. So yeah, so then I'll sort of do that, and then when I'm doing mural design, there's a bit more thought going into it, like the layout and the positions, but I can't see it from the start. I have to. I don't go, oh yeah, that's exactly. I keep looking up because I've got photographs of my work up there. It is generally cutting and because I don't use computers, like Word for Windows 94 is my limit, and it really is. And so I will do a lot of cutting, scissors, and layering and stuff until I go, yeah, that works. Sometimes I've done stuff a little bit ad hoc. So when I did the barge for the floating classroom, the electric barge, inside that we use this giant washi tape, which is Haru stuck on, amazing stuff. And I just completely off-piste, ad-libbed that based on my sketches. And I just sat there looking at it going, right, okay, I'll do this, this, and this. But what was so lovely about the tape is it layers in the same way as my print. And the work I really love are the prints that I make. And quite often, or historically, they have been a fallout of the murals that I've done. So I'm kind of abstracting my inspiration to create a mural, and then I creating prints of the mural, which then abstracts those shapes again. And because of using registration when you're doing printmaking, I might layer something and I move things around and I go, oh yeah, I like the look of that. That works all right. And oh, I'm going to try that there. So what I'm trying to do now, because I love the print so much, is work the other way. So this stuff that I'm doing with Annie, I've done the research, but what I'm doing today actually is printing. And so I'm going to print, and then I'm going to feed back the prints to Annie, so she's going to put her bit in, and then we'll create a mural based on that.
And where's that going to be?
It's actually a local primary school. They did some crowdfunding to fund it all. They've got a couple of stairwells that go up to this amazing art and music room, because they've got surround views of the whole of London. So they just want to make it a bit more of a welcoming look, be creative if you go up these stairs.
Yeah. So given all of that, do you ever find it frustrating if someone looks at something you've created and doesn't see that behind it? Because as you said, there's this whole journey you've gone on and this creative process.
Yeah.
And that's got so much value to it.
Yeah.
And someone might look and say, oh, I love the way that blue square sits next to the red triangle. Do you think, do you know what? I'm cool with that. Or do you think, you don't understand
No.
the work that went through my mind to create that?
No, I don't know. It doesn't bother me at all, because I think a lot of, art is, although, as I previously said about it's the meaning and the emotion behind the artist when they created that piece and what was going on for them, that, that is important to me, and I can see that it's important to other people. However, you might just go, yeah, I like that. Or, I mean, I had particularly children, they'll go, I don't get it. And you kind of go, what I want to do is I want to entice the viewer to go on their own journey of self-discovery with the work. So if they see an accidental shoe design in it or something, then that's great. If they want to find something else in it, that's great. So no, I'm all right with that. And but I do like the idea of enticing people to want to know and want to question and to find out the backstory themselves.
Yeah, I think it's like you can look at a Mondrian, and you can see the whole De Stijl story and representation of skyscrapers and personality and character within this bleak, this bleak landscape and all that. Or you can just go, I really like the way he puts black lines on a splash of red.
Yeah.
And everyone in the 80s has it as their wallpaper, so no problem.
Yeah.
Right? It's fine. You can have one. Have it both ways.
It's really personal. Taste is really personal. There's always going to be someone out there who likes what I do. There's always going to be someone out there who likes what Banksy does. There's always going to be, because it's like clothing and fashion. People have different tastes, and it doesn't mean that they're wrong. It just means that we're all different, and that should be celebrated really and respected. Don't get me wrong, I see some stuff and I'm like, oh my God, that's horrible. But that's my personal choice. Yeah. Other people will go, oh my goodness, I really love that. I've got some really hideously hand-painted kitchen units in our house, which we inherited when we bought the house. I mean, I don't like them at all. I think the previous owners had 4 pots of paint and they just used to do stuff. But my friend Jules, who has really different taste to mine, watches, oh, I love them, they're so good. Did you paint them? I'm like, what? It's really insulted. And yet, we're still really good friends. But we'll go for a walk up to South Bank and I'll be taking photographs of the film theatre and South Bank steps and stuff. And she's going, I don't get it. Can we go for a country walk next, please?
How do you think, or how can you see that style evolving in the coming years?
My work?
Yeah.
I think that I really want to produce more 3D stuff. I think I know I do. I think that my prints with the layering really lend themselves to something sculptural. And just doing that mural up in Walthamstow and being able to experiment and have that relief element was just great. And I think the other thing for me is that I do like to take on a challenge each time I do something else. So rather than sort of just painting a flat wall, I'd like to do something else, like we talked about, like doing round angles or doing barge or doing something with some relief. And I think I'd like to do that some more, but I would rather like to do a piece of public sculpture. And I'm also talking to Bat Studio. We're talking about collaborating on a bit of furniture as well for a bit of fun. So yeah, it's good. And I've also I'd love to do a bit of a garden sculpture as well, I think. But yeah, that's my drive. It's just about how I can do all of that. I have got a project coming up in April, which I can't talk about because I haven't been contracted quite yet, and I've got to keep quiet. Well, I've got to keep quiet, but that's going to be a nice installation. and a 3D installation as well, but an indoors one.
Very, very nicely vague. Give us a teaser, but don't tell us.
It is, the theme is amazing women, and interestingly, it's all about the value, so the history behind it, the value of women, and the fact that the value sort of historically and even now, we're not seen as having value in the same way as men. And I think that goes across race as well, and sexuality. So yeah, it's something for International Women's Day and the month that follows on from that. That I've really enjoyed doing the research and the pitch for that. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Do you experience a lot of that in the art world, and especially as sort of the appreciation of you as an artist?
Not so much in the art world, because I'm obviously, again, I'm a bit of a rookie, and I'm still learning. So but I do find it on a personal level, without being too controversial. People will still see my work as a hobby, because it doesn't bring in the financial money. Financial money. What other type is there? It doesn't bring in, for me at the moment, it doesn't bring in a financial benefit massively. But I know that I do a lot of stuff for community, and it adds value in a very different way. I think we're all cogs in the machine, and that's forgotten. However, someone did say to me yesterday that, sorry, I keep saying this because I had a meeting with someone yesterday and we talked about a lot of this stuff. And even if you actually bring in more money, you might find that still people don't see the creativity as a valuable thing. Which is interesting, because I think we're going to always have those biases from people. But we've got some amazing female curators out there and some amazing female artists, and I think they're definitely championing us. I say women, but those who are less represented, I suppose. But you sort of look at, I stopped my career, which was a pretty good career, to have children, and that was an agreed thing, and that was 14 years ago, and I was doing all right, 35k a year, really good, working in learning and development in local government and charities, training people in dealing with conflict and aggression and communication skills, and yeah, it was great. I loved it. And then for the last 14 years, it's like the moment you have a child, like people stop interested in who you are as a person because you become a mother. And I'm guilty of letting that happen as well. And sort of I lost my own identity quite a bit. But then I think, well, over the last 14 years, I haven't been paid for the childcare. I haven't been respected in that same way. So again, it's about the value, and people looking after children, people doing cleaning or whatever, they're not seen as adding value to society in the same way. Whereas actually, and this last year has really taught us that who we are as people is so much more important than perhaps, I don't know, it's important what we do as well, but I think mental health and who we are as beings should be respected so much more than what we do, and the money that we perhaps generate.